Rose Previte's restaurants regularly rank among the top spots in our nation's capital. Her dishes inspired by her travels through the Middle East, the Caucasus, and North Africa, as well as her time in the kitchen with her mom, whose family is from Lebanon. Now Previte is out with a book filled with those recipes, and some of them can also be found on the menu at her Michelin-starred restaurant Maydan, where we turned up the heat on some Middle Eastern favorites. Before diners get a chance to taste dishes at Maydan, they feel their heat. From the center of this intimate space, as white oak logs burn up to 1,000 degrees. A truly warm welcome by Rose Previte, who named her restaurant after the Arabic word for public square or gathering place.
The reason I opened restaurants was to bring people together over food and drink. And it's really just about the energy that happens when everyone's in the same space. And I felt that in these Maydans all over the world. I want you to come to Maydan to celebrate, to mourn, sometimes to rebel.
And to feast. Here, the best order lacks order. A spread of protein, dips, and herbs is enjoyed all together in the signature towel or table experience.
People are so used to coursing, appetizer, main, dessert. That's not how it works here. You just fill the table and you kind of mix and match everything.
So that means, I guess, that there's no right way to start our feast.
No, there's absolutely no right or wrong. There are no rules.
That said, we begin with the ribeye, dry rubbed with caramelized Georgian fenugreek and ajika.
Do not sleep on the sumac onions. Oh. These are actually delicious, and we mix them with parsley and mint, and they enhance every single bite.
It's served alongside a Lebanese staple, mahamra, a dip made of walnuts, roasted red pepper, pomegranates, and molasses. There's also yogurt-based lebne, mixed with lemon, garlic, and dill. Flavors that prove useful for our next combination, chicken shish tawuk.
Take a whole chunk, or as much as you can, put it in the bread, and now you want to layer.
Oh.
So I would do either muhammara, lebna, or both, and I lay it right on top. And then we finally get to our sabzi platter. And then we just pull a little bit of herbs.
That's good.
It is good, right?
Maydan's colorful dishes are packed with spices, imported from markets thousands of miles away. Previte shares their ingredients and stories in her new book, Maydan, Recipes from Lebanon and Beyond.
You note that many of your recipes and your dishes come from parts of the world that are more associated with tragedy and trauma than food. Why is it important for you to change that narrative?
I really felt it was, my job almost to come back to the US and teach people here about places they might not have been to. And what I found, of course, was the American perspective on the places we went was one of shock that we would go there, or fear that that place might not be safe. And I was welcomed into homes of many families, and women in particular, who took me into their kitchens and cooked with me and taught me their family traditions. I really think that food and education are the best way to create understanding.
Her approach came in part from traveling through more than 24 countries after moving with her husband David to Moscow when he became a foreign correspondent. The 3-year assignment was difficult. She had trouble finding her footing professionally. A master's graduate of public policy, Previte was unable to obtain a work visa.
I had never been one to just follow a man. And then all of a sudden I was just at parties and places just talking about David's cool job. And I didn't have anything, so I felt that sense of losing myself. And that is eventually what got me to my true passion.
That passion was food, inspired from a young age by her Lebanese-American grandmother and mother in their tiny Ohio town.
My mom didn't pass along language. I don't speak Arabic. But what she did do was pass along the food so that we wouldn't forget where they came from.
Why do you think food has been so resilient in being passed down across generations when other aspects of culture are not?
I think that food is one of the best ways that we hold memory. And for me, and what you'll see in the cookbook, is like food is storytelling. Almost every dish in there has a story behind it.
Wanting to share the culinary stories of those she's encountered, Previte opened her first restaurant after they returned to Washington, D.C., Compass Rose, highlighting street food from around the world. It quickly landed on lists of D.C.'s best restaurants. And 5 years later, as Previte prepared to open Maydan, she brought a team of chefs for a whirlwind research trip through the Middle East and North Africa.
I call it cooking with grandmas. That was our little hashtag. In this part of the world, it tends to be women in the kitchens. And I think they hold some of the most powerful stories, the most powerful techniques. These women in these kitchens have been doing this a certain way for generations. Well, and that's really what this place is about. It was the passion and the spirit of women who cooked for years without any recognition. I mean, they would look at us and kind of laugh like, why do you want to know this again? I'm just going to dash in a little bit of lemon.
Previte also incorporated recipes from her childhood kitchen, where her family would gather to cook and connect.
So this is a recipe that's been perfected over decades.
Oh, 100%. It's like a staple to everything.
A creamy and smooth hummus. It's now one of Maydan's most beloved dishes.
So this is like a small lamb shoulder.
Especially when topped with simmered pulled lamb.
Try to get a whole bite, get hummus and meat.
The family recipe and technique enduring the test of time. Previte holds food as a thread to her heritage and part of an inherited immigrant experience as her family assimilated, with unspoken rules about what was permissible inside versus outside their home. Rules passed down like secret codes.
What are those secret codes?
Oh, it makes me cheer up a little bit. It was what is passed down. We kind of knew, from my parents, that there were things that maybe other people might not understand, but they wanted us to know. And I think through food and tradition, they were able to impart on us the importance of not forgetting where you came from or who you are.
Not so secret anymore.
Not so secret anymore. Secret's out.
I love her message about how food is what is passed down through generations and across time. I mean, her father is, we should also mention, Sicilian American, and her mom, of course, from a Lebanese family. And food is how they sent that love back. But and we also brought some food here.
Dig in. Right?
Yes.
So we just have we have six, at least six different kind of dips. I feel like Martin Shorten only Murders in the Building.
Just go through all of them. Well, and that being said, what I love about what she says is it's not just about the appetizer and then the main course. It all comes in together.